Hi guys, it's April and I garden down in southeast Nebraska, zone 6A, and this is just one of my weekly garden tours. I like to do these about once a week just so I have record of how the garden is changing and progressing that I can look back at later. But I do have quite a few things that are happening in my garden and a few beds that are transitioning possibly into the fall garden. I haven't quite decided yet, so I'd appreciate your help if you're willing to give it to me. But let me show you. I think the best news out of what is becoming a very chaotic garden because of all of the squash taking over everywhere is the fact that I am now getting giant flushes of strawberries. I am so excited about this. I've been eating handfuls of strawberries for the last week or so, and I can't get over it. But yes, the pumpkins in this area are going a bit crazy. I wanted this one to go up, but it has decided that it is going to go across my walking path. So that walking path is now gone. I have 3 different squash that are starting to intermingle right here. So this one is a white pumpkin. I've got a candy roaster where you can see some of the fruits starting to appear there. And then I have this generic orange pumpkin that I haven't seen any fruit on yet. That is from saved seeds about 4 or 5 years ago. But intermixed with all of that is these very tall ground cherries. Now you can see some of the husk down on the ground there. But the weird thing is they don't have any fruit in them right now. They're just empty shells. I haven't found, well, I did maybe 1 or 2 actual fruit so far. Some of them are already being decimated by bugs, unfortunately. So we really haven't gotten a big ground cherry harvest, and then we are starting to lose the candy roaster. So I've already had to pull 1 vine, and I had 2 more vines, but it looks like I am starting to lose the rest of them. I mean, it grew up big and fast, and I do have quite a few fruit, which I'm hoping the plant is sending signals to it to ripen them. This one looks like it is ripening pretty well, so I'll probably get at least that one. Some of the other ones I think should be okay. You can see one right over there. So I should get like a handful of fruits before it completely disappears, but it happened overnight. I thought I had protected it pretty well, but I think I should have come back and done another layer of wrapping further up. I think that's how I lost it, unfortunately. But if I do get at least those couple of fruits, I will be happy. And then you can kind of see the potted plants around the fire pit are doing pretty well, especially over in this area. I haven't gotten any tomatoes off of any of the dwarfs yet, but I have been getting quite a few peppers off of this Pippin's Golden Honey right here. Over at the beds, you can see I still have my flowering carrots, and that's fine. I think in the next week or so, I'm gonna go in there and start checking to see if I have any carrots that I can start harvesting, because I'm guessing I do have a few that are ready. So it's about that time. Otherwise, these two eggplants are still my most prolific eggplants, though the other ones have been giving me some pretty decently sized ones. And here we have the zucchini plant that is taking over the garlic bed. I probably only have like 7 heads of garlic left in there. And I'm guessing in about 2 weeks, I'll be pulling out the rest of that garlic. That's what it's looking like about now. Got this zucchini right here that I think I should probably harvest later today. Problem is, I've got so many zucchinis now, I'm running out of storage space as I try to figure out how I want to use them. Otherwise, we've got the tomato plants where I'm really still waiting to get ripe tomatoes. They're not coming in as well as I would like. I'm guessing I'm still having a little bit of a watering issue. So I've got some of that to figure out. It's one of the interesting side effects of these concrete beds that I didn't think about, is how this stonework may be wicking some of that moisture away that I wasn't anticipating. But this right here is the biggest change. I have pulled all of the onions out of this bed. I dropped some of the tops there because I'm like, why not? But I started processing all of these. So I have a whole bunch of onions in my freezer right now. These are the red onions. And as I have time, I think I'm going to start coming through here. And I don't know if you can see them. I have some white onions buried in with a lot of my tomato plants that I think I need to get out before they start fermenting or being taken over by bugs. But these tomato plants in this bed right here are probably the plants that are doing the best. As you can see, there's quite a few fruit on them. They haven't ripened yet. The ones in the pink beds, I don't know if I'm going to get any fruit from either of the pink beds. There's just something going on with that soil that I need to figure out. I mean, I guess we got nope, see? Yeah, no. We might get a fruit from that. I thought for sure that would have blossom end rot, but it doesn't. So that's looking good. But most of my beds have gone a little wild. I was not good at maintaining and pruning these as I should have, and it's starting to show. Unfortunately, I keep telling myself, the first couple of years I was so good at maintaining my tomato plants. But for whatever reason, heat and everything else, I've not wanted to come out here and prune these as well as I should. I am doing a little bit of maintenance, but otherwise we're going wild this year. But I did want to show you that the zinnias have been fully planted out. So now we just watch and wait for them to sprout up even more and start flowering. I'm excited about that. I did go ahead and pull most of these sunflowers from over here that were looking really bad. I don't know what to put in where I took out the sunflowers. I don't think I have any flowers that'll make it before the first frost. So still kind of deciding what's going to go in there. But this is probably one of my bigger mistakes. I don't know which one it is, but I think one of my hybrid squash is acting more like a giant pumpkin and is taking over everywhere. It is nearly impossible to walk through this right now. It has eaten this path. It's on the way of eating this path, which I need to figure this out because, yeah, I need to figure it out. But the problem is it's starting to come into the other beds, and I can't have that. Not that that tomato plant is looking the best. This is the other pink bed. Like I said, the tomatoes in these beds aren't looking the greatest, but I don't want them smothered out as well. So I have to figure out what I want to do. See, it's starting to climb this tomato plant. Don't want that either. So yeah, I wasn't, yeah. Oops, don't get me wrong. I am still really excited about what I'm gonna get from all of this. But I'm also a little afraid of if I'm gonna be able to harvest anything from any of the beds that this is starting to block off, because those are my peppers and my tomatoes. And those are what I really need at this point, because we are down to our last jar of picante, and I need to make some more picante. But I guess this is one of those things where, well, maybe we don't do that again. I don't know how I'm gonna handle this in the future. But that's ridiculous. Like I mentioned, it's starting to collide with the bigger tomato plants. And some of the squash have already climbed through my dwarf tomato plants that are over here. But my biggest concern is, see this? This right here is actually from the back bed. Back there with the sweet peppers. I need it not to be there, so I think I'm gonna have to just come out here and I'm gonna have to be brutal with these plants and just try to delicately remove them from the peppers and tomatoes. And if there is a vine that is just too much, it's gonna get chopped. I don't want to do it, but I might have to do it. But here is one of those zucchinis that has gone longer than it should have, so I'm gonna have to come back and find that later today. And surprisingly, I haven't harvested my potatoes yet. The tops haven't died back, so I'm still waiting for it to start to die back a little bit before I go in and start harvesting these. This might be the latest I have waited for some of these potatoes, which is actually kind of surprising me because this is my magic molly that I plant every year. And this is the jungle I have to go through to try and find zucchinis at this point. And I'm keeping my eye on the sweet peppers. So far, most of my sweet pepper plants haven't been smothered. It's mostly what I just showed you in the spicy pepper bed. But this could easily become an issue. So we're going to be watching that. I love it, but I am just confounded by it at the same time. Goodness gracious. Lastly, we have the beds by the deck. The tomatoes over here are really taking off, and I love how good they look. They are so lush. And I have started coming through and pulling the beets. I thought I was going to be able to pull all of them, but it turns out there's only about half of them were ready for harvesting. And so I've processed that. I only got about 3 cans of beets, which is okay. We're not big beet eaters. But I didn't turn over this bed as I was expecting to this week. At some point I want to do another succession of these beans where these beets are. At least that's my goal. And I'm watching as the new runner beans start climbing up the dying back peas. And in this mess, we do somewhere have an eggplant, and in the back we have a pepper plant and a dwarf tomato. I did plant out in some nursery pots some spinach that I'm gonna place in there at some point as soon as it starts sprouting. But over here we have yet another squash that is just taking over because it can. The angel hair squash is starting to intermix with the pine berries, and it looks like we even have a fruit right there, which is exciting. I do have spinach and beans and a dwarf tomato in this back area. I think I'm gonna have to put boots on to get anywhere near any of this stuff, because this is just becoming a dense jungle that I don't wholly trust what could be in there. But that is pretty much the garden as it stands right now. I do have, of course, this peach tree and strawberries, and then blueberry plants just hanging out. So yeah, that's the garden as it stands right now. I need to figure out how I want to maintain that area over there so that I can still get to where I need to get to and harvest what I want to harvest. But I am excited to see what all of that produces. I might have an influx of squash this year that I can can up, and I might not have to grow these next year, so then I can refocus back on the peppers, even though the peppers were what I really wanted to grow and focus on this year. It's kind of a mess. Sometimes you just gotta go with the flow of what the garden wants to do, and that's okay. But if you want to go on me with this journey of what my garden decides it wants to do, because at this point in time, it's what the garden wants to do, not what I want to do, feel free to subscribe down below, hit the bell, do all the things to get all of the notifications. I also have an Instagram and Threads account where I like to keep a little more updated on what I'm harvesting and preserving as I'm harvesting and preserving them. So you can follow me over there as well. Otherwise, I hope I will see you guys again in another video, and I heart your beautiful faces. Bye.